Have you ever loved someone so deeply that you gave them every part of yourself, your time, your heart, your patience, only to be met with silence, half-love, and emotional distance? Have you ever stood in front of someone, heart wide open, hoping they'd choose you, and instead they shrugged? They acted like you'd never leave, like you were the one person they could mistreat and still expect to stick around. But now, everything's different. Now the silence they once ignored feels deafening. Now they're scrolling through your profile, rereading your old texts, asking mutual friends what you're up to. Now they care. But the sad truth? It took losing you to wake them up. They didn't care when you left, because they didn't believe you actually would. They thought you were bluffing, that you'd be back, that you'd always chase. You see, when someone is used to your love being unconditional, they start treating it like it's disposable. They think kindness equals weakness. They confuse your loyalty for lack of options. But the day you finally walked away wasn't a game. It wasn't a strategy. It was survival. You were tired of explaining your worth, tired of begging to be seen. You weren't angry anymore. You were exhausted. That's when you knew it was over. Quietly, you left. No drama, no scenes, just gone. And now it's hitting them like a storm they never saw coming. They're starting to realize what they had, what they took for granted. They're realizing that love like yours doesn't show up twice, that the version of you who once cried over them no longer exists. You healed, you leveled up. You stopped looking back. This video is not about revenge, it's about realization. It's about the moment they feel what you felt. It's about the emotional shift that happens when the person who didn't care suddenly starts to regret everything. When they scroll through their messages and realize the silence isn't temporary, it's permanent. You've changed, and they didn't see it coming. In this video, we're breaking down 7 psychology-backed reasons why they didn't care when you left, but why your absence is haunting them now. These aren't just tips. These are moments. Moments you'll feel in your soul if you've ever loved someone who couldn't love you right. And I want you to drop this in the comments if you've been there. They didn't care when I left, but I'm never going back. Let's get into it. Number 1, they felt nothing until you were gone. It's strange how someone can get so used to your presence that they forget it's a choice, not a guarantee. You were always there, texting back, checking in, giving your time, offering your heart, even on days when it felt heavy. You loved them with a consistency that made them believe it would never end. And in that comfort, they got careless. They ignored the little efforts. They rolled their eyes at the soft goodnights. They brushed off the way you tried to communicate, to fix things, to hold on. They confused your patience for passivity, your softness for neediness. And over time, they stopped appreciating you altogether. See, people don't always leave because they're angry. Sometimes they leave because they've been quiet for too long, because nothing changes, because they're tired of being the only one trying. And that's what happened to you. You didn't leave with fire. You left with silence. You stopped begging. You stopped explaining. You stopped showing up for someone who never really showed up for you. And that's when it hit them. Not when you packed your things, not when you blocked their number, but when days turned into weeks and the silence wasn't just space, it was final. That's when they started scrolling through old photos. That's when they played your favorite song and felt the ache. That's when they realized, you're not coming back this time. Psychologists call this emotional contrast. It's the gut punch of losing what you once had but didn't value. Only now, the absence makes it echo louder. Your silence became the mirror they never wanted to face. Suddenly, they saw all the ways they took you for granted, all the times they thought you'd never leave, and now They're left with nothing but memories and guilt. And you? You're finally at peace, because they may have felt nothing while you were there, but now that you're gone, it's all they feel. And they'll never forget the day they realized that losing you wasn't just about losing a relationship. Number 2, they didn't notice when you needed them most. There's a moment in every relationship where the silence isn't peaceful, it's screaming, and you were in that moment, quiet but aching, smiling but slowly fading. You gave your heart in full, not because you were weak, but because you believed love meant showing up, even when they didn't deserve it. You hoped they'd notice the shift in your voice, the sadness behind your eyes, the way your energy dimmed. But they were too busy, too distracted, or maybe too self-absorbed to care. You kept pouring from your cup even when it was empty. You sent the good morning texts. You tried to fix the mood. You tried to be easy to love. But deep down you were hoping they'd reach for you the way you always reached for them. They didn't. They thought you were strong, unbreakable, fine, but inside you were tired. Tired of being the only one who cared. Tired of being in a relationship that felt like a one-sided war. You didn't ask for much. Just effort. Just honesty. Just someone who wouldn't make you feel like you were too much for wanting the bare minimum. And when you finally went quiet, not to punish them, but to protect yourself, they noticed. But not because they missed you. They missed what you did for them. The comfort, the validation, the effort they never had to earn. Psychologically, it's called emotional labor. You carried the weight of the relationship while they coasted on your kindness. And the worst part? They didn't realize what you were going through until your silence became the loudest thing in the room. Now they scroll through your social media, looking for signs of the old you, the one who chased, the one who waited. But that version, you buried her, and in her place, a woman who finally realized she didn't need to beg to be loved properly. They didn't lose you when you left. They lost you when you cried next to them, and they didn't even turn their head. Number 3, you were breaking inside, and they looked the other way. There was a time when you were still holding on, still hoping, still trying to convince them that you were worth staying for. You weren't asking for the world, just for them to see you, to choose you, to meet you halfway. But all they did was take. You were breaking silently, but they didn't notice. Or maybe they noticed, but they didn't care enough to ask why you were quieter, why your eyes didn't shine the same, why the messages you used to send like clockwork now came hours later, or not at all. They thought your silence was peace, but it was exhaustion. They thought your calm meant indifference, but it was numbness. You'd already cried behind closed doors. You'd already rehearsed conversations they never gave you space to have. And what hurts the most? It wasn't just that they didn't show up. It's that they expected you to still be there after all of it. They never asked how your heart was doing, but they noticed when your tone changed, when your energy shifted, when your presence started fading. That's when the panic crept in, when they realized the attention they ignored was disappearing. Psychologically, it's called emotional neglect. It's not always about what someone does, it's what they don't do. They don't ask, they don't show up, they don't care until you stop caring too. But by then, it's too late, because your healing doesn't come with fireworks. It comes in quiet moments, when you finally let go of what was never holding you properly. They didn't lose you when they walked away. They lost you when you were still right there, begging to be seen, and they looked through you. And now, they feel your absence louder than they ever felt your presence, because the person who used to beg for love finally gave it to themselves. Number 4, they thought you were waiting, but you were healing. They imagined you sitting by the phone, checking their stories, wondering where they were, who they were with, and if they missed you. In their mind, you were still stuck in that moment, the one where they walked away like you didn't matter. They thought you were paused, frozen in that chapter, waiting for a return that was never promised. But what they didn't realize was that silence doesn't always mean pain. Sometimes it means peace, growth, rebuilding. You weren't stuck, you were rising. While they were out trying to distract themselves, you were doing the work. Quietly, consistently. You cried, yes. You broke down, yes. But then you picked yourself up. Not all at once, but piece by piece. Some mornings with tears in your eyes, some nights feeling numb, but still you moved forward. That's the part they'll never fully understand. How your silence wasn't weakness. It was discipline. A choice to stop bleeding for someone who kept handing you the knife. They mistook your quiet for longing, but you weren't longing for them. You were remembering who you were before them. You were finding the strength to become someone new, someone stronger, someone wiser. Not for revenge, not to show them what they lost, but to finally love yourself the way they never could. And now, they're watching. Maybe they won't admit it. Maybe they'll pretend they don't care. But they notice. They hear about you through friends. They scroll through your pictures late at night. They remember moments you've already healed from, because now they're the one wondering, do they miss me? Would they come back? Have they moved on? And the truth? You did miss them once, but you missed yourself more. That's what saved you. As the Stoics say, he who conquers himself is the mightiest warrior. You didn't chase them. You chose yourself. And while they thought you were waiting, you were out there becoming everything they didn't see in you. And that realization, that's what haunts them now. Number 5. They didn't expect you to outgrow the pain. They thought the pain would break you, that it would keep you small, that you'd carry the weight of what they did to you like a chain around your heart. In their mind, you were going to stay hurt, stay bitter, stay lost in memories. Because when they walked away, they expected your world to stop spinning. But what they didn't expect was for the pain to grow you. At first, yes, it shattered you. It was hard to eat, hard to sleep. Everything reminded you of them. The playlist, the coffee shop, that one movie you always watched together. You kept replaying the last conversation in your head, wondering if maybe you could have done something different, something more, something that would have made them stay. But then something shifted. You realized that healing doesn't mean forgetting them, it means remembering yourself. Slowly, your mornings started to feel lighter. You smiled at strangers. You found joy in silence. You created new routines. You made peace with the past, not because it was okay, but because you refused to carry it anymore. That's what they didn't see coming. You outgrew the story they left you in. The one where you were the broken one, the one who never recovered. But no, your pain became fuel. And with every tear, every sleepless night, every lonely walk, you were building a version of yourself that no longer needs closure, no longer needs them. Now you move different. You talk different. You carry yourself with a kind of peace that only comes after surviving a storm you never thought you'd make it through. And while they might still be chasing distractions, you're out here chasing purpose, peace, alignment. And when they look back, they don't see the person they left behind. They see someone they never truly understood, someone who turned heartbreak into transformation, someone they can't reach anymore, not because you're hiding, but because you've elevated. That's what stings the most. As Rumi once said, Don't get lost in your pain. Know that one day your pain will become your cure. You turned the pain into power, and that's something they never thought you could do without them. Number 6. They realized too late. You were their safe place. People often don't recognize stability until they lose it. While they were out there looking for more excitement, more validation, more attention, they overlooked the rare kind of peace you brought into their life. You weren't loud about your love. You didn't make them beg for support. You just showed up, consistently, honestly, wholeheartedly. But in a world full of surface-level attention and empty conversations, they mistook your calm for boring. They mistook your reliability for being too available. They didn't realize that real connection doesn't always look like butterflies. It looks like feeling safe without asking for it. And now, without you, that silence feels heavy. Because they're surrounded by people who want something from them, people who play games, people who offer chaos disguised as passion, and suddenly, the peace you gave feels priceless. But it's gone. And they can't get it back just by saying, "I miss you," because you were never just someone to text late at night. You were their place to land, their soft space, their shelter from their own storms. And they took that for granted. You listened when they didn't even know how to explain what they were feeling. You cared on days when they didn't feel lovable. You celebrated their smallest wins like they were gold. And they didn't see that as rare. They saw it as expected. But your silence now, that's what's making them look inward. That's what's showing them just how much your presence held their life together. And the more they search for someone who feels like you, the more they realize you weren't just a chapter. You were the calm in their chaos. And it hurts, because now you're not available, not because you're punishing them, but because you learned the difference between being a safe place and being a landing pad for someone who never intended to stay. You outgrew the role of caretaker in someone else's story, and now your silence speaks what words never could. I was never too much. You just weren't ready for real love. Let them sit with that. Number 7, you let go. And that's what finally broke them. They always thought you'd hold on, that no matter what they did or didn't do, you'd be there, waiting, responding, reaching out, still believing. And for a long time you did. You believed in their potential. You forgave what they never even apologized for. You stayed even when you were hurting, just hoping they'd finally see your worth. But something shifted. Not all at once. Quietly, like the way a flame dies down after burning too long. You stopped begging for clarity. You stopped fighting for someone who made you feel like a question mark. You stopped waiting for them to become the person they promised to be. And when you finally let go, not out of anger, not for revenge, but for your own peace, that's when it hit them. They didn't believe you'd walk away, because they knew how deeply you felt, how loyal you were, how much you loved with your whole heart. They thought they had time. They thought they could disappear and reappear like it meant nothing. They thought they could love you on their terms. But love doesn't survive in confusion or silence or disrespect. And when you stopped trying to prove your worth, they were forced to face their own lack of effort. It wasn't your love that broke them. It was your absence. It was the realization that the one person who saw them at their worst and still chose to stay, finally chose to choose themselves. Now they look for pieces of you in people who can't even hold a candle to your presence. They scroll through memories like they're trying to feel alive again. They replay your laughter in their mind because it's the only warmth left. And here you are, not broken, not bitter, just free. You let go of the story you wrote for them in your heart. You let go of the illusion that they'd change. You let go of the hope that love alone would be enough to make them show up. And now, they're the one holding on to a version of you that no longer exists. Because letting go wasn't weakness, it was the bravest thing you ever did. And that's the truth. They didn't care when you left. But now it's hitting them harder than they ever expected. Not because you vanished with noise or anger, but because you left with silence and strength. You stopped chasing, you stopped explaining, and you started healing. This isn't just about heartbreak. This is about self-worth, about rising from the ashes of someone else's indifference and learning to walk like you never needed their validation in the first place. They thought you'd always be available, that your heart would always be theirs to take for granted. But now, you've become someone they can't reach, someone they can't shake. Because when you rise with peace instead of bitterness, that's the kind of power no one sees coming. And if you're watching this, just know, this is your moment, your time to choose you. To close the chapter they kept open with confusion, to walk forward, not with revenge, but with dignity. Because real healing isn't loud, it's silent, it's strong, and it's unstoppable. If this video spoke to your soul, let it be a reminder that your silence has value, that your peace is sacred, and that the person who didn't value your love will never forget your absence. If this message touched your heart, like, share, and subscribe for more healing, empowerment, and truth, because this is only the beginning of your glow-up.